Welcome back to Time to Change. I'm Chasen Forehand.
And I'm Dr. Melissa.
And we are having conversations with people that are creating change.
And these are people that aren't just talking about making change. They are doing the change. They are the change.
And that's what makes it so unique.
Yeah. I mean, it's great to talk about it and it's awesome to be in theory, but it's even better when it's in practice. And those are the people that are here with us.
So join us for 20 plus episodes in season 7 of Time to Change.
Welcome back to Time to Change. And guess who I found? I found our co-host. She was Dr. Melissa is back with us. She was traveling, doing all of her speaking. If you haven't connected with her, if you haven't heard her TED Talk, if you haven't bought the book, what are you waiting for, people? Like, what's going on? So in the links, yes, mine is over here underneath some other books. You need to get on that. You need to get on that. But first, before we introduce our guest, who is just like laughing at all the craziness, I have to introduce you to our sponsors, Maono. They are the people that gave us all this wonderful equipment. You'll see their logo down there. It means vision in Swahili. I love that. I absolutely love that. And they are one of our cool sponsors that gives us all this great gear, and we appreciate them so much. Guiding brilliant writers, that's Nick and Jai Galindo. Love her to death. Thank you for being a sponsor. My boys at HR Consultations, those are my friends and my company that I've had since 2012. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. And our merch page. So if you haven't picked up one of our TK t-shirts, come on. It's the coolest gear around. And if you turn it on the back, it has this great saying and this one line that really sticks out that I love so much. We flip more than eggs. We flip lives. So that is all about what we do. Thank you, Ginger. Thank you, Tisha. Appreciate you ladies over at our merch page. No further ado, enough talking about all this other stuff. In the house today, Candice Van Dertholen. She's a veteran spouse. She's a speaker. She is a women's retreat creator. She's the founder of The Warrior Within Healing and a podcast by that same name, which we were talking about before we started recording. And she is recently the vice president of the board of directors for our nonprofit HR for You. So give it up, people. Let's see if I can actually look at it. I love that. I'm still trying to find my Vikings. I haven't found that yet, but there's nothing like a Viking cheer. We're just going to find some of that, but I love it. And I want to just jump in today. We have a lot to talk about. So the first thing I want to do is give you an opportunity to tell people a little bit about you, because I said a whole bunch of things, but there's a lot of story to tell. So I'd love for you to share a little bit about yourself, and then we'll dive in.
Yes. So I'm excited to be here for many reasons. I've been sharing more of my journey, more of my story, and getting more comfortable being a little bit more vulnerable and open. And I've had a lot of good feedback that, when we open up to share, it really does give hope and possibility to the next person. And so, while my life isn't a picture perfect version, I didn't go to an Ivy League school. I didn't, do all the right things. I did everything in reverse. I'm really excited to be here. And that is something that I didn't always feel. So a little bit about me is that, while I am a holistic practitioner now, and I focus on root cause healing and really helping people move through our past experiences so that we're not running from them, and really honoring the journey, honoring who we are in all seasons of life. I wasn't always this person, right? I was a person who really struggled with addiction, and I struggled with self, harm. And I struggled with loving the person that I was and had depression, anxiety, and it started pretty early in my life. So I was in my adolescence when all of that started and became an overweight child. And, back in the 90s, it wasn't super popular back then. And so I really struggled. I just struggled in so many ways. And would be an early parent. So I, had my first daughter at 19 and then my next two by the time I was 21, and became a single parent, married, divorced, and single parent by the age of 22. Um, and I've just gone through a really crazy life sometimes, and it's really not even that crazy compared to others, right? But without minimizing my experience, I went through what I went through. And I'm really thankful that I'm on the other side of it because, to kind of give you an idea, about 10 years ago, I really did not want to be here. Like there was nothing really physically else left in me. I was at a really low place in my life. I was coming out of a very abusive marriage and trying to find my way forward. And my kids were with my grandmother at the time, and I nearly took my life. I was really, really close. And I woke up in the hospital with direct dialysis to my heart. And that was the moment that I knew I couldn't be there again. And so I made it every bit of my effort to finally figure out how to get myself out of that hole that I had been in. And ever since then, have really leaned in. And it hasn't been easy. It's not something that I'm proud of. It's not something that I enjoy that I went through, but it is how my life ended up. And so I have to honor that person. I was given the gift of hearing that the past version of ourselves deserves to be loved, honored, and supported because they're the ones that went through all the hardship, all the pain, all the struggle so that the current version doesn't have to. And I've only ever looked at the past version of myself with shame, guilt, and anger instead of recognizing the pain and the suffering I was actually going through. And so to be able to really see that in a different light gave me such a gift because I think anybody who's been through adversity, we don't like to talk about it. We're not like trying to shine the light on it because it's embarrassing. It's not our finest moments in life. And yet, in being able to move through it, we can then help other people on the other side and to show them the potential in doing the inner work and honoring yourself and learning how to do that. And so, while I'm not where I was, I'm definitely where I am today. And I won't be here forever either. So, that's the thing is like you have to learn how to just honor the journey and make movement happen going forward.
Yeah.
Ooh. Man, I'm
Wow.
gonna let Dr. Melissa go because I'm a little emotional from that. I've heard parts of your story and you and I have shared. I've been on your podcast and shared my journey. And you pulled some stuff out of me that I didn't think I was even gonna share.
Hmm.
And I just want to tell you how much it means to me that you share the way you do, that you lead the way you do, and that you are serving others the way you do. It as someone who shares a lot of journey with you, it is it's very raw, it's very new, it's very difficult for me. So anyway, I'm gonna let Dr. Melissa go for a minute so that I can kind of get myself together. I'm about to like cry like a baby here. So
I usually do that to people, so you're good. No.
woo.
Well, thank you for your vulnerability and your openness and your willingness to not live in the scars, but let the scars lead the way for other people. That really is a super trait, and if more of the world were more open and more vulnerable in those ways, I
Mhm.
think we would have a much better place to live. So just thank you, you know. I actually have a question for you about what you do because you and I chatted about this just briefly, but we talked about how you actually work through grounded spirituality.
Yes.
and, that this is something that's just a little bit different. And I'd like for you to highlight that for our audience.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I just want to double, tap on everything. It's like when we have moments in our life that move us, Jason, like that, it's just showing us that you're worthy. And I just want to pour that into you because that's something that we don't often remember as people who have gone through really hard moments in life. So grounded spirituality came from this understanding that so many people seek spiritual experiences or spiritual awakening, and they don't realize that they're using it as a form of escapism. And it's not necessarily that they're doing it intentionally, it's that the body doesn't feel safe. The life experiences don't feel safe. And
Mhm.
so it's more of the external reach, and it's no different than any other form of really coping mechanism at some points if you're not careful. And so what I do is I work on helping people really ground back into this experience so that they can learn to embody themselves again. So paying attention to the physical body, the emotional body, and the spiritual body, because they all work together, and we live very disconnected from our physical being. And that also affects our spiritual connection. It also affects our relationships. And so when we ground back in, then we can start to understand what I call learning the language of our soul, learning the language of who we are as a human. Because we are still living in this embodiment. While I may believe in past lives, and that's really cool and all the things, we truly only have this embodiment, this life. So it's great if you want, but like, how can we truly love the life we live in right here, right now? And so, again, I do a lot of foundational work, meaning the identity shifting. So, a
Mhm.
lot of people come in, they're in the middle of transition, and they're kind of like, I don't really know myself. I don't really know what I want to do. And they're just again in this moment where something has to shift because they're just not happy. And so we work on again helping them understand where their starting point is, and really we do look to the past, right, to figure out what is the true block or cycle that's coming forward, because they usually play out in multiple areas of our life. But then how do we again honor who we are in this season and decide to shift where we need to? And so that's why I call it grounded spirituality, because while we do this grounding work, so again, working here in the lower three energy centers, then we can connect in with our spiritual practice in a much deeper way, because we're not running from our life or running from our existence. We're really walking with it. And so it deepens that expression. It allows us the space to truly embody all of our life instead of one or the other.
Well,
So, I mean, wow. I'm learning as we go here. Although Jason, I'm always learning, so it's all good. But just out of curiosity, how did you get pulled on this path? Because there's a zillion different ways you could have gone, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of different modalities and a lot of different practices. And I say it found me. I was in my 20s when I knew that I could heal others, and I felt it. And I told my kid's father at the time, I was like, I don't know, but I can feel other people's energy. And when I put my hands on them, I feel like I can heal them. And I never did anything with it after that. So then fast forward, during COVID, my husband and I PCSed, or we military moved from Washington State to Virginia. Now, the reason why I'm sharing this is my job back then was working for Anytime Fitness. Well, if you know anything about that time frame, those jobs were obsolete. So we arrive in Virginia, and I had to find another way. And so I ended up in emergency pet medicine, working, 13-hour days sometimes. I mean, I always joke and say they needed a warm body because I have no background in this stuff, okay? But anyways, it was there that I was awakened to see again normal life, like people who didn't live in the gym or go to the gym. It's a lot different. So I saw suicide as a high. I saw people at risk for depression and anxiety and, just disease in general. And so I know that it was a part of me needing to see what everyday life looks like. Well, during that time frame, I became very burnt out, and I was joking with my husband saying, I'm going to work at a yoga center and I'm just going to sit at the front desk and do nothing, which he laughed because he knows I could never actually do that. But said this for like a year straight though. And sure enough, a yoga studio opened up 3 minutes from my house. So I at first just put in information to go join, and then I was like, wait, they have to be hiring. So I ended up getting a job there, became the manager, ended up, launching the yoga studio. We had 450 members. It was great. Well,
Oh,
during that time, I met my practitioner, and that's where it all started. So that's kind of why I shared the whole journey, because and I was also in this place of, during COVID too, I found out some really unfortunate news. So my second husband took his life in 2020.
wow.
The following year, my kid's father passed away suddenly to overdose. And so it was like I had 2 major losses while in a new industry, going through COVID and trying to, like, be centered, grounded. I was not. I was, like, trying not to go backwards because I had done so much work on myself, and I just it found me, and it literally saved me, because it is what helped me heal forward from all of the experiences I was going through. And it also helped me ground back in and really be able to see my son and my kids in a different way, to help them process through all of it. So that's kind of where it came to me. It quite literally came to me. And once I knew, though, I knew. It was like the first time I had a session, I was like, I need to do this, and then I need to teach people how to do this. And there was no, it was like, that was it. I just knew. And that's what I did. So
That's awesome. And I love that you were just not, I'm not even gonna sit on it. Everything that I've done with you, it's like, "Oh, we're gonna get this done." It's like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna and you're, like, charging forward. So, I love that, and that's kind of how you've attacked, doing, your events, because you've done these retreats, and they've both sold out. Like, I'm just like, I turn around and you're like, you've
it's
already got it sold out. I'm like, "Good
Yeah.
grief."
I
Like,
do
that's incredible.
I do have one in March that has not been advertised yet, so it's still open. But yeah, no, the thing that really shifted for me in this last year in my work and all of it is that I got really grounded in myself. I was applying everything that I teach my clients plus some. And it was like I still had a little bit of inner work and clarity work that I needed for my business. And that's one of the components that when I'm working with business clients, we always start with personal alignment, because every single business coach out there will tell you how to make a sales funnel, and they'll tell you to do this and all of that. But are they actually walking you through what is it that you want your day to look like? What is it that you
Yeah.
want your life to feel like? Because what I wanted last year is not what I want this next year. And so the moment that I had that clarity and I really decided, like, this is the person I work with, this is how I help them, and I ran with it, that's when everything opened up. And, doing what I coach clients on that are usually in the coaching industry in some capacity, I'm like, you have to make it make sense for your clients. So if I had tried to host a retreat 2 years ago when I didn't have as many clients, it wouldn't have made sense. Right. They don't have enough like people to like it
You
just
and 2 other people hanging out
doesn't
going,
like
"Hey."
we're like,
Yeah.
hey, really expensive venue. Cool.
Yeah.
But the thing is like when you make it make sense, it works, because I did private invites for both of the retreats because I had enough clients that were interested and I knew that I could fill it. Like it all made that sense. And so, and again, it's about the energy. So I call them retreat experiences because quite literally the weeks leading up, I'm sitting in meditation. I'm connecting in with the energy of the group and I'm asking, how can I best serve this group in their season? And so, like last week, the message was really all about honoring what you need. Can you ask people for things? Now, this came from an experience that I was also at. And then it was just double confirmed that all of these women are really big givers. And how can we be more intentional in our life? This week it was just that reminder of again connecting back within themselves to really see what is it that you want to know or what is it that you want to really shift in this next season. So I'm sitting in meditation, I'm sending those email downloads to the clients and letting them know, hey, here's your opportunity to expand this experience so that when you arrive, you're like already feeling the energy. And I will tell you, at the the one in October, We had 12 women there, and we were up until midnight for 3 nights in a row. I haven't even stayed up till midnight for the New Year, okay? Our
Yeah.
inner teenagers were definitely playing.
True.
It was
True.
just
Yeah.
like, I'm at, like, 9 o'clock is stretching it unless I have something to.
Yeah.
So, but that's the thing is like when you're in alignment, these things become possible. I'm doing this cohort in January. I've had it out maybe a week. I think I started telling people about it on Monday and they're like, "Do you have a landing page?" It was like, "No, not yet, but I'm building one." So, I got that done and sent it out. And 8 people have already signed up. So, it's because I knew that I needed to do this, and so I put it out there. And that's the other thing I teach people is like once you have that inner confidence and you get that message that you need to do something, sometimes it just takes imperfect action. Like I already know when I'm teaching people because I've been building this course for the last couple of months. It's just I needed to implement it. Every time I wait, it's crickets. Every time I go and it's a little bit messy, it's like the craziest thing, right? So it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun to be up
Wow.
here sometimes.
Huh. So you talked about the cohort. Those were your new classes, the new course, right?
Yes, I am so excited for this because I kept getting asked. People were like, "How did you do it? Like, how did you build this business over this past year?" Because I celebrated 3 years of officially being a business, and I'm in year 4. But it was really this last year that I shifted everything. And so what I'm doing is it's 7 weeks long, and you're coming together just very intentionally to learn about personal alignment, and business strategy. So those 3 pillars and in those order. So that way in January, you're really having that clear understanding of where it is you want to go and what are those steps you're going to need to take to get there. What are the mindsets you're going to have to let go of? We're going to do energy work because, of course, that's what I do. But also, we have some phenomenal guest speakers that I've already confirmed that are coming in to share their expertise. So Brian LaFontaine, who is my voice coach, well, not voice coach, he's a speaking coach.
Yeah.
Maybe he does voice work too, but anyways, he confirmed with me that he'll come in and do a 90-minute session with us all about stage presence. And that can be applied to whether you're giving a presentation, whether you're on the physical stage, whether you have to go into a conversation, which is a great lead up from the conversation I'm going to have about the energy behind when you communicate, because that's the other thing that we struggle with whenever we're entrepreneurs. You're like, I don't want to ask anybody, I don't want to sell anything. And it's like, yes, and you're missing them getting the opportunity. So I'm taking all of my 20 years of being in the customer service sales industry and all of the energy work and practices and combining them to really help people build a sustainable business that doesn't feel like, again, another sales funnel. That is not, I am not that person. If that's what you're looking for, do not sign up.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
I love all the stuff that you're doing, and I love the fact that you're just charging forward. So
Yeah.
I say it so many times. We're building the plane while we're flying,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, you're crushing it. So that's
Yeah.
fantastic. Any final questions, Dr. Melissa, before I see Sheena in the background there. We're gonna get her up here.
Well,
So
I would just like to point out too that you're a woman of many facets because
yeah.
you're a military spouse, you're doing all of this stuff for other people, and you're on the board for the Center of Death Education and chapter lead
Mhm,
for military spouse chamber of commerce, right?
mhm.
So I mean, you've got yourself out there serving in so many different ways, and I just thought that was super cool. So it's very cool with what you're doing, but you're like a diamond. You're like sparkling in all these different ways.
Oh, thank you. Well, and like that's part of it's my energy type. So like I can go forever until I can't, and then I have to like recharge. Um,
Yeah.
and again, like it's really exciting to get to be doing the work. I think that that's the other thing is I have a lot of practices in place to help me be able to sustain the things that I'm doing. And I mean, again, that's where I always call it constant recalibration. You're constantly recalibrating on what's in alignment for me, what's out of alignment, and being able to really be okay with the answers that come forward. Because like this year, I'm at 78 clients as of this year, which is a lot.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
a
Good
lot.
for you.
Thank you. And I recognize that that is beautiful, and I might not want to work with that many clients at one time anymore. Um,
Yeah.
but it's been
Yeah.
great, but that's what I wanted last year. I was like, I want 20 client sessions a week. I learned that is a lot. I don't know that I want that.
Yeah.
Uh, it's beautiful. I'm really, really fortunate to get to do this work. And, yes, I wear many hats and I do the best I can with all of them. And so I'm just honored to get to be in this season because, again, to be here is such a gift. And I hope people take that away today because I didn't believe that for, 32 years of my life, which is crazy to think. I lived that long thinking that I didn't have anything to give to the world when now look at me. I would have never seen myself doing all this stuff, which cool fact. So we're, in the outlier, and Vic Pepe interviewed me. He sent me this message like that just blew my world. He said that the podcast episode that I almost didn't want to put out there, I was really nervous to put this out there. We actually re-recorded it due to technology and ended up being his highest viewed podcast episode on YouTube at 58,000
That's
views.
just incredible.
That's awesome.
Like,
Yeah.
That is just
and
incredible.
that's the power of change, right? That's the power of being in alignment and understanding that your story has value. Because I almost had him pull it. I was like, I don't know, man. Like that's just I feel so vulnerable. Like I feel like I just ran in there naked. Like I am not ready for this. And he's like, no, this is good. I promise it'll be fine. And so it's just very humbling, to get to see where you can go from here.
That's
Yeah.
incredible. Well, I'm cheering for you.
Yeah.
I'm so thrilled that that you've been on the show, that we got to record this, and all the things that you're doing. We're going to share all your links with everybody, and we're going to be dropping that this week. So when you see this, folks,
Cool.
this is going to be Funky Friday. It's going to be out there to the universe. I'm so excited. There'll be a whole bunch of cool clips that we get from this, but connect with this fantastic lady, Candice Van Dertholen. Thank you for being
Yes.
on Time to Change. Thank you for being with us.
Thank
And
you.
thank you for all you do.
And anybody that signs up through your link is going to give 10% back to HR4U.
There
So,
we go.
Nice.
and
That's very cool.
to join. So there you go.
Very, very cool. Well, we'll have a QR code.
Yeah.
We'll put it in there.
Yep. I'll make sure
All
you
right.
have it.
Thank you
Yep.
so much for being here. Thank you for being on Time to Change. Dr. Melissa, thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Good to see you back in the house. And we will catch you next time on Time to Change.